To help Emma understand why James Gretton's business caused a nuisance, Carl is taking her to some working-class Victorian houses, now preserved as a museum.
The amount of times I've walked past here and not even known that this existed.
Now, your great-great-great-grandfather, he'd have had something like this yard. Probably 2/3 of this, I would have thought.
Yeah.
What we've got to understand is, can you see how tight it would have been?
Yeah.
People living on top of each other.
Overcrowded, yeah.
Yeah. And you can imagine, can't you, the smells coming from James's yard.
I'm getting a well-painted picture of work life and what he did and the trouble he was kind of in at that time in court.
Yeah.
So what about his wife and the children?
Well, here's the 1861 census for him. Now,
1861.
right, so if we read along there...
Lower Trinity Street. So you've got James Gretton, who's the head, Mary.
And there's an A afterwards, which is probably for Anne.
So, all right, so Mary Ann Gretton, his wife.
Yeah, who is your 3 times...
great-grandmother.
And that is Mary.
Is that her?
That's Mary.
Oh, my God. Her hair looks nice, but then she's got enough brushes.
She's got enough.
Emma wants to find Mary Ann and James Gretton's daughter, her great-great-grandmother, Alice Maud Gretton. She was born in 1860, a year before this census was taken.
Clifford is 9. Son?
Yeah.
So he's got a son who's 9.
Yeah.
Agnes is 8.
Yeah.
Clara is 6. And there's no Alice.
No Alice. This is another census return.
OK.
For...
Heath Mill Lane. Abraham, Redding, Hannah, his wife.
Yeah.
And Alice Maud Gretton.
Yeah.
So why was she living with Abraham Redding and Hannah Redding when she's only 1? Had they given her up? Would they have given her up?
Perhaps the mum, your great-great-great-grandmother, Mary,
Ann.
yeah, is thinking, it's smelly, there's
Not
a stench
good for
here.
such a small child.
Yeah. All this hair. What do babies do when they're crawling around?
They crawl and their hands are in their mouths.
It might be that's the reason.
Right.
Health reasons.
So do you know anything about what happened next? What happened with the nuisance report?
Have a read of the London Gazette.
Yeah.
It's a notice to the court.
As directed by the Bankruptcy Act, name and description of the debtor as in the deed, James Gretton. So he's gone bankrupt.
Bankrupt.
Now he's fallen on harder times, he's gone bankrupt.
Yes.
Alice isn't living with him.
Yeah.
What happened to the family next?
For that question to be answered, my advice would be to see a family historian.
OK. I kind of feel like he was doing quite well, but then it all just kind of fell away from underneath him. I don't know why they didn't have Alice living with them when she was so young. The only thing, actually, I can imagine as a mum of a 1-year-old myself was that for her own health and safety, she shouldn't have been in that environment. And from what we've heard with the nuisance report, that would kind of make sense. Because I can't see how you would otherwise not have your baby living with you. So now I want to know what happened to Alice. Did she go over to live with the rest of the family? That's what I need to know next.
Emma's come to Birmingham Library, where she's meeting genealogist Olivia Robinson.
Hi, Olivia. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I don't know whether I should be excited or nervous. OK. So, so far I have got pictures of my 3 times great-grandparents, James and Mary Ann Gretton.
Excellent.
They had a baby who was 1 called Alice, who was my 2-time great-grandmother, who wasn't living with them. So what I don't know is what happened to the family and to Alice.
This is the census from 1871. So this takes you 10 years forward.
Yeah.
If you can see, here's Alice Gretton.
So she's back with them.
She's back.
Good. That's what I really wanted to happen. James Gretton, 44. Helena, wife, 42. Who's Helena? And where's Mary Ann?
What we haven't found is a marriage certificate for James and Helena. So I don't believe that they married. But
And
she is living with him.
Right. Clifford, son, 20. Agnes, daughter, 18. Clara, daughter, 17. Alice, daughter, 10. Lily, who's 5.
This is the birth certificate for the little Lily at the bottom.
Okay. So, March 1868, Lily Helena Gretton, girl.
This is Lily, the child of James and Helena.
Do we know what happened to Mary Ann?
This may give you a clue as to what happened to Mary Ann in the same period.
So it's another birth certificate. 18th of July, 1867. Mary Ann, a girl. Name of father, Joseph Kilby.
Mm-hmm.
Name, surname of mother, Mary Ann Kilby. But she hasn't given Gretton. She hasn't mentioned it at all.
No. Mary Ann had her child with Joseph Kilby in London.
Oh, where are we?
St Martin in the Fields in the county of Middlesex. And Joseph Kilby may not have been aware that she was married or had another family.
She's a right one. Secret lives in London.
Yes, exactly. So, on the evidence
There's a
we
couple of
have,
illegitimate
there
children.
are 2 illegitimate children. Yeah.
Emma has learnt that her 3 times great-grandparents, James and Mary Ann, both met new partners and had a child with them.
Did things like this happen a lot, or is this quite a rare situation to kind of find both parties in?
I haven't seen anything quite like this where each married partner finds a new partner and has a child with them within a year. And it's not impossible and it's not unheard of. It's unusual. Rare. Yes, very unusual.
This is too much. The whole way down this line, the parents have always stayed together. My parents, my dad's parents, her parents. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. What happened to James? Entry of death. Oh no, this is what I didn't want to say. I like James. February 1899, James Gretton, male, 72, cause of death.
Senility and exhaustion.
So he'd gone senile.
Yes.
Did that have the same meaning back then as it does now?
Yes, it would have meant that he couldn't care for himself.
When and where he died? Workhouse infirmary.
Real
So could he have
options.
been working at the workhouse?
No, if
Okay.
he had been in the workhouse. They call them inmates. He would have been treated slightly better than the people who were just inmates in the workhouse. What is quite nice about this record is that his son,
Clifford.
Clifford, was actually in attendance. Clifford could simply have registered his death, but in attendance means that he was actually
There when it happened.
Yeah.
So he may not have lived with his children, but they were still very much around him.
It certainly looks that way.
Oh no, how sad. Even though I don't physically know James Gretton, I've become really attached to him in a really short period of time. He seemed to have had a life of ups and downs. It does seem apparent that he always had his children around him. And he had love. The one thing that I wanted to find within this was that we had solid, authentic roots in this brilliant city that I absolutely love. And James Gretton has given me that. This is where we're from. We are true Brummies.